Yep.
Something to season your food with.
Yep. Now, of course, right now we are live for another episode of Barbershop Stories, the podcast, episode 67.
Yes,
There's
sir.
a special guest in the room. Some people be featured guests. You got some people that's special guests, and this just so happened to be one of them. Abra Barnes. You may know her. If you don't, you'll definitely know about her tonight. And if you don't know her personally, you probably heard about some of the work she did. She's a real estate broker with Barnes and Associates, located over in the beautiful Avondale area. And she is a person that hook up deals, sell deals, commercial, residential, everything from flipping houses, from tax properties, to clear title deals, the whole nine hood, individuals, personals, whatever. I'm here to bring you today the legendary.
You so funny.
Legendary. Barnes. Y'all give it up for that.
So crazy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hey man, that's what we supposed to do.
Yeah.
A lot of times they say in business that folks don't really shout people out while they here.
Nah, but I appreciate it.
For whatever reason, but for real, if they fight, they fight.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I appreciate you. You
right.
always been supportive.
That's right. Hey, that's what's up. And now, and keep this in mind for all the people who watching. You can like it. You can watch it,
share.
but we definitely want you to share it. So, people on the panel, Sammy
it.
No-Nos, Abra B, K1, even if you got your cellular device, King back in the back, you got your cellular device. Please share it because we're about to put out some vital ass information. You might get you a laugh or two, a sniggle or two, but one thing for sure,
All
you're
right.
going to get that business though.
Yeah,
Like
shoot
Sam
a few
said-
questions.
Like Sam said, we got that info.
Got that info for you.
So
Shoot
let
them
me come
questions.
on around here, I got me a new gas station attire, and it actually fit right this time, so, we put my cup in.
Keep them short, though. You know what I'm saying? Short and sweet. Short and sweet.
Yeah, so what's happening? Hey.
Yes, sir. Barbershop Stories, episode 67.
I did that
That's right, and this right here is.
No knows. We keep that info.
That's right.
Y'all know it.
And this is Ms. Abra Barnes with Barnes and Associates. She is a real estate broker and a house flipper. And of course, I am comedic narrator, haircut slanger, Benny Mac, V949, comedic narrator, fire Barber. Now we just gonna host a TV show right here. What's up, Abra?
Hey.
How you doing today?
I'm good. How you?
Good. I'm very excited that you took the time out your busy schedule
Yes.
to come here and chop it up with us. So.
I'm glad you invited me.
Oh yeah.
It took you long enough.
Well, hey.
I'm just messing with
Hey,
you.
well, they say the best shit for last. Like,
Okay.
think about it. You don't eat the middle of the burger first.
That's right.
Goddamn, you eat around the edges. So guess what we are? We the
Okay.
middle. We the motherfucking middle. We that
All
piece
right.
you don't share. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? That's right. So, Abra B, what's happening with you? What's going on in this different world we're living in 2021? What's going on with you?
We still out here grinding it. Selling houses, me and my team. So, like you said, we do residential, commercial, sales and leasing, and we do property management, and we also do new construction consultation, and we flip houses, do investor coaching, and we're about to start building houses. So we got a lot going on.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just do this here. We'll just look like a dance move and take it from the beginning.
Okay.
Abra B, what even got you even interested in real estate? Because a lot of times people get into it because it's a popular conversation. Now we're gonna give them up for 4 hours. We're gonna rent them whole $700 a month. Boom, 2,800. But don't know how to tell them about the lawsuits and all that shit like that.
But it wasn't popular when I got into it. So
Exactly.
I've been in real estate now 20 years, and when I got into real estate, it wasn't the popular thing to do. The average realtor is at that time was a 50-year-old white man, and so when I got in, here I am, a 20-year-old black woman. It was different. Now getting in real estate is trendy, and that's the thing to do now. That wasn't the thing in 20 years ago, but I've always just had a love for houses, but I never thought about going into real estate. I used to be a stylist for celebrities, athletes, entertainers, and I used to travel styling people. And my father had a real estate company. And my father got sick and asked me to come and assist him for a little while until he got better. And when I came, he didn't want me to go. And so it was supposed to be temporary, but it turned into a permanent job. But I don't regret any decision that I made.
Well, yeah, well, it's good.
It's been beneficial.
Well, yeah, I mean, it should be though, because I think you coming up in it, and especially having someone in your life like your father to be able to put the hands-on touch, which is a little bit more interest in making sure my daughter make it.
That's right.
And a desire that made it just that much better.
I think I did it too because it was a challenge. Because everybody told me I couldn't do it. You know, even though I was 20, I looked like I was 15, and I had so many people tell me no. I love a challenge. And so when they told me no, I was like, let me prove them wrong. My daddy, he was a great person that laid a great foundation, but he believed in tough love. I ain't giving you nothing. His word, I ain't giving you ish. And so he said, everything I give you, you're going to have to work hard for it. So that's after I had committed to staying. And so he gave me some tough love. But when I tell you, I truly appreciate it. And it made me into the woman I am today, so I'm thankful for that.
Okay. Well, that's what's up. That's what's up. So, the flips. Name, when you first started, how tough was it really getting into it? Because, of course, I understand. If you got a passion, that's fine. But, some people just get in it, and they don't know all the ins and outs, the headaches, you buy a house, it was $3,000, but it need $1 gazillion worth of work.
That's right.
Where you done fucked up because you was excited and all that.
And people don't think about all of the expenses. They just thinking about profit.
Yeah.
So, flipping houses. I started flipping houses before people start flipping houses, most people. I started flipping houses in 2002. But the thing was, I didn't have the money to flip personally, so I was teaching my investors how to do it and being the project manager on their job. So they would give me the money, and I would go buy the house, hire the contractors, pick out all the design work, and take it to the closing table, and I would go straight to their bank and deposit their check. Most of them did nothing.
So you was fine middleman.
So I was the middleman for over a decade. And I'm sitting up there after a while, I was like, and please, never been greedy, always been humble, but after a while, I'm like, I've watched these investors become millionaires. And here I am, barely a thousandaire. So I was doing it for everybody else. And evidently I was doing a great job because they're millionaires, you know.
See, you good because you stopped at 1,000 now. I'm 100
Look,
now.
baby.
I'm 100 now. I got about about $200-300.
Oh Lord, that's why I said I need to change it up. So, I made a decision. Look, if I can do it for them, I can do it for myself. I went to them and I told them, and I'm totally transparent about my life, and I'm like, look, I want to start flipping too. I do it for y'all. Let me do it for myself. They were like, no. It's not enough room in the game. It's not enough room for all of us. And I was told, if you start flipping, we're not going to use you anymore.
Wow.
Yes. And so
that's semi-hating.
So they were about 80% of my income, and I had to make the decision, Abra, you either flip for yourself or you lose your client. And so at the time I was scared. I never really, in the beginning, I didn't know how to bet on myself. You know what I'm saying? I betted on everybody else, but didn't know how to bet on myself. And so I decided, I'm going to keep working with them. But what happened after that? The market crashed. And once the market crashed, the real estate game changed totally. And
what year we talking?
So this like 2009, 2010, and then I was able to float for a couple of years. So then I lost it all. Had to start from scratch, So I was really training people to invest and flip for years. But I just now started back flipping for myself maybe a year ago. Yeah, so now things are different, and I finally decided to bet on myself.
So in that time period that you talking about when it crashed, who was that time period better for? Was it better for the person that was holding on to, just say a lot of different properties that they personally manage, or somebody that just say an individual, or versus somebody that's able to maintain, you know what I'm saying, big companies that's able to maintain weather those storms like that.
So
you know what I'm
I
saying?
think at that time it was hard on a lot of people when the real estate market crashed. Like now we're in the middle of a pandemic and a lot of people lost jobs. They lost their personal jobs and businesses shut down and things. But the market crash of back then was directly affected by real estate and financing. And so nobody really was winning at that time. So many people,
Big companies or individual
big
flippers?
companies were winning,
Okay.
but individuals, they were losing equity on their houses that they had paid $100,000 for, and now they're only worth $60,000. It's big chunks of money. People were losing money. People that bought houses and they had got predatory lending, they might have got in at one interest rate and their interest rate quadrupled. And so then they're losing their houses. A lot of people start getting foreclosures. So foreclosures went up to sky high.
I remember that.
And then because people were not able to get financing, because they tightened up the rules on qualifying for a house, then houses were not being able to sell. So real estate agents were losing. But it really affected anybody that was directly selling real estate or buying real estate. But this time around, it's totally different. We're in the middle of a pandemic, but guess what? We are killing we have record numbers now in home sales.
Yeah.
Home sales are up.
Seller's market.
It's historical numbers, and it's totally a seller's market. And when we were in the pandemic before and the market crashed, it wasn't a seller's market or a buyer's market. It was nobody's market.
Yeah, wasn't nothing moving.
Nothing moving. And when I first got in real estate in the early 2000s too, it was almost taboo. That person foreclosed on their house. You might know a handful of people who got a house foreclosed on. And it was almost taboo, and everybody in the neighborhood talked about, that house got foreclosed on. And you never really see a foreclosure. And then after 2010 hit, foreclosures hopping up every other house. And it's just like, how people aren't ashamed these days to say, I got bad credit. Back in the day, you weren't supposed to say that. And just like nobody wants to talk about foreclosure, now people are able to be honest because it happened to so many people and say, yes, I went through a foreclosure. You ain't the only one. I went through a repossession. You not the only one. And so, that period actually humbled a lot of people. It was a humbling process. It even humbled me. I never been that arrogant, cocky person, but it was definitely a humbling process. So,
It turned down the volume a little bit. Huh?
Yeah, it turned it down. Definitely.
So what do you recommend to a person that say, since we on foreclosure, I want to ask that question, what do you recommend to a person that say, okay, I want to buy a home, but I don't want to go the traditional route and go buy I want to go buy a foreclosure. Do y'all, you know what I'm saying?
So I'm going to tell you. So sometimes people call me and say, I don't want to buy a regular house, I want to buy a foreclosure. And I ask them, why? Some people say that because they really don't understand. They say it because it sounds good. That's what everybody say. And then they say it too because they feel like the foreclosure is actually going to be such a great deal. It's going to be so cheap. It's going to be so affordable. That's not true. The foreclosure is going to be listed at market value based on the condition that it's in. Now, people say, I want a foreclosure, and I'll just take my time and work on it. I got an uncle that can work on it. So this is the thing. When you're dealing with financing and you're not buying a house just straight out cash, and you're dealing with financing, the bank is going to want this house to be in a certain type of condition in order to finance it. So a lot of foreclosures are not going to be in move-in condition. And so if it's not in move-in condition, guess what? You aren't going to get regular financing. You're going to have to pay cash. Or you're going to have to do a renovation loan. With that renovation loan, some people don't want to wait the amount of time to get that renovation loan. Then you can't use your uncle or your homie to be your contractor. You got to use licensed people that's filing tax returns for that business,
go in the phone
that
book.
will pull permits. You know, and so you're not gonna pay that handyman price. You're gonna pay top dollar. So all this money you feel like you saving, you actually are gonna put it into the house. And then on those renovation loans, you also get a slightly higher interest rate. So you're gonna pay out, and then you're also gonna pay a slightly higher down payment. And so,
But is that rare one sitting there sometimes that people kind of base that
sometimes
fear off
you're
of?
gonna find a foreclosure that's gonna be move-in ready. I'm not saying don't have, but sometimes you find a house that's move-in ready and you can buy a foreclosure like that. But when you find them like that, it's still not gonna be a steal of a deal most of the time. I'm not saying that people
So they still want
don't
their money.
find deals. People find deals, but it's not like they sitting out there just because you buying a foreclosure. So when I ask somebody, why do you want to buy a foreclosure? Is it because the price of the house? Do you feel like it's gonna be cheap? Do you feel like you're gonna have equity? What's your purpose of buying a foreclosure? And most of the time, once we find out the purpose, we find out they just want a house that's gonna be affordable, that's gonna be low maintenance, and just to be able to get into a house. And then sometimes people feel like it's easier to get into foreclosure. It's actually harder, you know? And so once we break down the root of it, we normally get them to where they need to be.
That's what time it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. All right, now let me ask you this: since we're speaking on foreclosures and I guess speak a little bit to tax liens,
Okay.
and speak a little bit to just buying something with a straight up clear title,
Okay.
and how you obtain that, and what are your thoughts on it?
So-
So we'll start with tax liens because I hear that a lot.
That's the new trendy thing too. So, and that's a touchy subject for me. Tax liens, tax certificates, tax deeds, all of the tax properties. You know, even right now, you can go on Facebook Marketplace and somebody's selling the houses. That's just a tax certificate. You know, and you don't even realize when you get a house with a tax certificate, you do not own that house. You have interest in that house.
You got a minute.
You don't own the house. You have interest in a house. And these people get on Facebook and sell these houses for top dollar. Well, sell these tax deeds for top dollar. And people think that they actually own a house. And it's scary. And so people feel like because they didn't use a realtor, they feel like they about to get a deal. I would say when doing any type of real estate transaction, consult a professional. I mean, even if you're not going to use that professional, consult a professional, somebody that cares about you to make sure you know what you're doing. I had somebody on Facebook hit me up saying they was about to go meet. It was a house next door to them, and they said, I met the guy that has it for sale. He wants $40,000 for it. And the house, I know it's worth $90,000. My Facebook friend was headed to the bank to give this man $40,000. I said, have you checked the title? To make sure that person that you're buying it from is the actual owner. Well, he said we didn't have time to do that because he had multiple people trying to buy it.
He was trying to get that money.
So we need to come on and do it. And if I didn't go ahead and buy it, he said he was going to move to the next person. And this house is right next door to me. So I really want to go ahead and get it. So I was like, okay, let's look it up. I pulled the property up, and it was on the state page for back taxes. And the person he was about to buy it from, they were on the waiting list to pay taxes on it, but they were not primary. That would have been money gone, you know, and it just sounded like this great deal that he saw online. But you would be so surprised how many people get taken advantage of, even though they feel people that's selling these properties sometimes say they explain to people, but it's not for an everyday person to know what they're buying. You know? And so every now and then, no, you get people that are honest about doing. I'm not saying everybody that's doing it is not straight up, but there are some that are not. But you got to do your due diligence to make sure you're dealing with the right person and you're doing something that's above board. So people that want to, I say if you want to buy them, most of the time I say just go to the county or the state and buy them directly yourself versus going through a third person. So at least you know that you do have actual interest in the property.
That cash and dash.
Yeah. It happens all day long. I got a good girlfriend of mine now. She had she said she was doing a lease to own, and she'd been paying rent towards her mortgage for 3 years and thought that she was close to being the owner on this property because everything she paid was supposedly going to paying down the house. Got her credit together and was ready to buy and put an offer in to buy the property, only find out the person she had been paying rent to had no ownership in the house. They pretty much was squatters. They had just taken over the house and said, hey, we're going to rent this to you.
Ooh,
That happens every day.
They snap though, I get it.
That happens every day.
It ain't
Speaking
right,
of
but they
squatter,
snap.
let's get these other questions in. Brother Ocelot Williams got for us. We're going to go with the first one. How can one go to a closing when buying a house and go to a foreclosing when they take it back? Define for. And he also says allodial titles are what the people need, not deeds. Allodial titles.
I'm not understanding. Maybe I need to read it. I'm not understanding the question.
Let's just see the word.
Okay. How can one go to a closing when buying a house and go to a foreclosing when they take it back? Define for. I guess he would know that better than I do. Define for. I don't get the question.
Okay. All right, Brother Williams. We might need you to reword what you're asking, or she said she don't
he
get
about
the
to
question.
preach the
So
word. He about to
shoot us something back.
It's deeper than what I know right now.
Shoot us a response back, my brother.
I mean, but the beautiful thing about that is that
I didn't make the rules. I don't make those rules, so
I mean, because my thing is, I love to hear from both sides. Because of course, some of us go in a different level of knowledge, and some of us go there.
Yeah.
Meaning that it's great to talk because we're sharing. And like you said, I would like to hear him break it down a little more. So if it is something you don't know, you can be like, well, goddamn.
Well, see, and that's
You know what I'm saying?
I think the question he's asking is more so rhetorical. I think he knows the answer.
Yeah.
And he can preach it better than I can.
I guess.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fine.
He may shoot us a response if he ain't clicked off. We're going to see how it go.
Appreciate that old slide.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Appreciate everybody watching. Tone, Miss Shantae.
Yeah.
Cuz, what's up?
Yeah, hey, Barbershop Stores, the
Justin.
podcast, episode 67. We're sitting here with goddamn Abra B. And I think this
Everybody
conversation
watching.
getting greater and greater. And K1, you got a question?
Yeah. When buying a lot,
Okay.
or property without a house, without a home on it, is it better to go through a realtor, land bank, or the state themselves?
I always, because I am a realtor and I'm pro realtor, I always say talk to a realtor. It can go either way. It just depends on what type of lot you're looking for. So land bank, let's start with land bank. The land bank, of course, is where people have not paid taxes to the property, and the city has actually gone to through the process of quieting the title on certain lots and certain pieces of property. And most of the time they want the neighbor next door to get it, or somebody that's actually going to occupy this land or this property as a primary residence. They try to steer away from selling to developers and investors. And so one thing, it just, when buying the land, I guess what's your intentions? What's your purpose? You know, if you see a lot that the land bank has and it meets what you are looking for, I would say all day buy the land from the land bank. They have a set fee that they charge. I think they're at $5,000 now, unless it's a bidding war. And if it makes sense to you, go with the land bank. But if you're looking for a lot to build your forever home and you want a more luxury neighborhood or something, then it might be something on the market. I mean, I just say go what works best for you and what you're looking for. The thing about buying property out the land bank, guess what? They've cleared the title. There's no judgments or liens attached to it. If you buy a property from the state or just from the county at a tax sale, guess what? Any judgments or liens or collections that stuck to that property, you're responsible for that too. Had a brother selling me a tax deed just the other day, and I'm thinking this property is raggedy, it's ran in. I would think nobody would have a mortgage on it. So I'm like, okay, I could get it and rent it out and make some income, or possibly flip it after I file the suit to quiet the title. But to pull the title search on, that's the other thing. When you buy these tax properties, don't just get them. Run a title search, because you need to see if it's an outstanding mortgage on it, because that's going to take precedence over everything. If it's any type of federal liens, government liens, then those stay attached to the house for a certain period of time. And so I did the title search, and it turned out somebody had just got a $40,000 mortgage on this house in the last 10 years. So if I buy this pay this person $10,000 for this tax deed, guess what? It's still a $40,000 mortgage that has to be paid off before I can try to sell this property, because you can't get a clear title on a property that you don't have ownership rights to. You know, and so just be mindful if you buy something from a tax sale, just know that any judgments, collections, or liens on it, you are still responsible for. If you buy it through the land bank, they have gone through the process to quiet the title. And if you buy through a realtor, guess what? We can't sell you something with liens attached unless we disclose it to you, but you still have some sneaky people out there that might not be totally upfront, but if it doesn't have clear title, then you won't be able to get a title commitment. Don't buy anything if it's something that you want to flip or sell that you can't get title insurance on. You know?
Oh, yeah.
That's important. If you planning on flipping or selling it, or living in there or whatever, I really say make sure you can get something with title insurance.
That's what's happening.
What happened?
That's what's happening.
Did that answer your question?
Did.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, you snap now. You sound like you
No,
work
she
at
ran down.
Oh, I work hard. I
you
work
sound
hard.
like you work at Brown
And
And
Macon now.
then,
You
you
work
know
at
what's
Brown
up?
Macon.
I work hard, but my thing is I'm really big on educating my people and protecting my people's property rights. You know, when we talk about tax deeds and tax certificates, you know, I'm really passionate about that because I myself, I have a heart for senior citizens. And honestly, I've seen like 2 senior citizens have their houses taken because of taxes. And I'm going to tell you one thing that I do now. I go to neighborhood association meetings to make sure my people are educated. You know, when people have been in their house over 30 years, and our grandparents, our great-grandparents, and some of our mothers and fathers have been in their house over 30 years, guess what? Some of them, once they pay their house off, the house payment includes principal, interest, taxes, insurance. So your taxes and insurance are included in your payment. So some of them, once they pay their house off, they don't even realize they still need to pay taxes on their property. And so many people have lost their houses because they stopped making payments because their house is paid in full, but they stopped making tax payments as well because they didn't realize that tax payment was escrowed in that payment. You know, and so they didn't do that. Also, a lot of people automatically assume that just because they're 65 years old, they no longer have to pay property taxes.
Yeah.
That's not true. Just because you are a senior citizen does not exempt you from paying property taxes.
Does Jefferson County have a program where they do some? Because I done seen billboards saying about they exempt
You
if you
still,
go down and apply.
it's
How does
not,
that
let me
work?
show you. You don't have, it's based off your age and your income. Warren Buffett is a senior citizen, but guess what? He's a millionaire. So he's still gonna have to pay property taxes.
Yeah.
So it's there for people that are of age and then of a certain income. So, and then also it does not automatically happen just because you are of that age and income. You have to go and apply and make sure you get approved, and then it will be applicable to your house. And then guess what? Every few years you have to recertify. If you don't recertify, it will fall back off. You know what I'm saying? And so
How many years? How many years?
I
have you
think it's
certified?
about 3 years. I'm not sure. But this is the thing. A lot of people automatically assume because I'm 65, I don't have to pay taxes anymore. And guess what? Our seniors are losing their houses because they think it automatically falls off and they stop paying taxes. And a tax investor comes in and starts paying taxes on their property. And then some of them are illegally evicting our senior citizens because they pay taxes on their property. And when you're a senior citizen that does not have physical strength and sometimes the mental health that you need, and you definitely don't have money, and somebody comes to you and tells you that you're evicted, sometimes they believe that. And some of them are getting put out. And it's scary.
All right. Well, let me ask you this.
Wow.
I guess kind of moved past it and jumped on this right here. But as far as with the tax properties, when you acquire a deed and you boom, it's all, you know, when you get it and it's clear and everything, what's the time of the right of redemption? How long is that?
So,
how long is that?
All right, wait a minute. When you get, say that again. When you
Like,
get a
yeah, when you
regular
go-
deed on a house, or you said on a
No,
tax
when you go
Land
get a
bank.
tax property.
Okay, when it depends on how long it's been. Ask the question one more time, and I'm gonna make sure you saying it. Okay.
Oh yeah, excuse me, pardon me.
That's
Big Daddy's Bum Barbecue
You
Sauce.
so crazy.
Not back to you, Abra. But
Okay.
when you go buy a tax property,
Okay.
assuming you bought it, no, nothing attached to it. how long do you have to hold that before you actually become the
So-
owner? What's the right of redemption?
So
That's
when
what
you
I'm saying.
so if you buy them at the county, they're normally newer tax properties than at the state. You're not buying the property. So at the state, the people have been waiting. They have not been paid on longer time than at the county. So every house is different. It's a waiting period. And like I said, I don't deal with them often. But they will let you know on that particular house how long the waiting period is. And when you say clear, I mean, how do you know it's clear? You got a title search and nothing was on it? So even after you wait and you've done the title search and everything is clear, you still have to file a suit to quiet the title in order to get a marketable title and have something that you would be able to sell.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So even if you've had this property 10 years and you've been paying taxes on it, so that's way past the redemption time. You are still, in order to sell that property again, you have to file a suit to quiet the title. That's going before the courts and say, hey, I've been paying the taxes for this long. I want to clear the title so it can be mine and I can get a deed that I can actually sell to somebody.
Okay, now let me ask you this. So while you're going through that process, can you rent it out legally?
So legally, they tell you not to take possession of the property. If you take possession, you're pretty much doing it at your own. They tell you don't take possession. They sometimes say if you need to do work to it to make it make the neighborhood look better, presentable, you do that, and the people are supposed to pay you back what you spent plus interest. So, but they tell you when it's just a tax certificate not to take possession. But guess what? Most people do take possession.
Yeah. I mean,
They do.
Because, I mean, I know, like, this is how I look at it right now. You
Now
know?
it's a difference between a tax certificate and tax deed, but
Yeah.
but the people.
Well, explain the difference before
Well-
we move on. Because one thing about I know a little bit about it, you know,
Okay.
we're only in education, but
There's a lot of people doing
for
that
the
right
people
now.
that don't know and need to really get a better understanding, could you
Acquiring
tell
about it, brother.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this: I'm not your specialist in tax certificates and tax deeds
But
because
see, but-
that's not a marketable title.
But you
I'm
know,
a specialist
but you know
in.
enough to be able to lead them to the right direction, though, because you're in it.
Well,
It may
no,
not
I'm
be your
not.
specialty.
I'm not in because I do nothing with tax certificates
you
and
don't
tax
fool
deeds.
with it.
I don't do anything with it. I don't.
Okay.
Because and it's not. I'm not saying it's not something for people to get into, but I've seen too many people lose their houses with it, and for me, it's more
Yeah.
personal.
So who is that between the courts and you? And so who's that usually that situation between? Just
It's-
you until you get the paperwork back
Yeah,
with the courts?
it's with the court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whoever
and then
other side
whoever is
of it
paying
is.
the taxes.
Yeah,
Whoever's
other
paying the
side.
Yeah.
taxes.
Oh yeah, it's interesting because I wanted you to get into that
So-
because a lot of people don't understand because I'm telling you that conversation comes up very often
Yeah.
when people are like, I'm just gonna give me a little tax property, but they don't realize.
Well,
all what it
you had to
entails.
prepare me for that one because that's not something I'm really
Yeah.
versed on, and
Right.
I don't like to speak on stuff that I'm not totally versed on.
Well, I ain't gonna
You
lie.
can probably
I'm
school me on that
Well,
better.
I know a little something. I mean,
Yeah,
just
you can
tax,
probably school me on that better.
we love. But yeah, I know a couple things about it. You know what I'm saying? But it's an interesting thing because, like I said, it is a major process. You know,
Yes.
there's so much you have to go through. But I say this, you know, to be politically correct for a moment. Most people will get them and run them out because they look at what I would say the probability rate. Like if I look at it, let's just say if Abra house was $1,000 a year in taxes, right? I wouldn't go buy a house that's $2,000. Well, and, you know, with interest, it was maybe $2,700 because I know there's a chance they're gonna come right back and get that. But if I look at Abra house and it was $750 a year and she owed $9,000, nine
probably-
times out of 10 she's not coming back.
Okay.
So in the time that you choose not, you know, where you can't acquire the property, most of them will rent it. So if you rent it out for $750 a month, you know, I said even on
You make that money back in a year.
Exactly, you making $9,000 a year. So if you got it 3 years, you know what used to be or still is, I'm not sure now. There used to be 36-month right of redemption, right? So you be able to start looking at this my shit. But in the meanwhile, you done made what $25,200 minus maybe a little insurance or whatever. You done.
Oh, you good with them numbers, ain't you?
You know, I mean, Woodlawn, you know, I mean, I just Woodlawn Kernels right there on 56th Street and 57th North. But yeah, thank you, though, April. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, but I know a little something about
But
it
that's
because
good.
I have done it. But I look at the probability. Like a lot of people just buy them because they feel like, oh, it's just 1,000, or it's just 1,500. But I'm like, these folks shit $1,000 a year. You don't think they're gonna come with the 1,200?
Yeah,
some
you're
people
right.
will, you have to do it between October 1st and December 31st. But most people be like, fuck it, especially if they own a property,
Yeah.
then they pay it in May.
Yeah.
But they'll put your shit in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
So when they put your shit in the paper, some people think they got this such great deal when they actually add it to you really just, they got to pay your money back. But ain't about shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you look at it like 4, 5, 6, 8 years, like, nigga, if you couldn't afford 500, you sure ain't gonna pay 6,000.
You right. You
So
right.
that's how I looked at it and rent it out. And even if they do come back and get it, you done made rent, you done bought with that shit. Then you done turn around, they gotta give you back all your little money, plus a little interest. You win all the way around. But with everything, you gotta weigh your
Pros and cons.
You gotta weigh them pros and cons.
Like, how much money is it gonna take for you to get
to
the house
that
up
shit
and running?
Yeah. Or what if you get somebody rent and them fuckers don't pay rent 2-3 months out of the year? The rest of the time you spend trying to evict them.
Yeah.
That shit happens too. So, but we had to touch on that because I think us talking about, and of course we'll change the page and we'll go about the difference between real estate broker, real estate agent, all that shit like that. But we got to touch on them tax liens because I enjoy talking about popular conversation that most people know about 19% about the shit. And that's dangerous because you got some money don't mean you need to spend it that way.
That's right.
You need to educate or at least inquire with somebody about, hey, just give me just a little bit more info. Because once you lose your money, if you can recover it, shit, you be old ass man or woman trying to get that money back.
You right.
And spend a lot of money trying to get your money back. So we had to just at least touch on it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at all. That's what's up.
Oh yeah.
That cat that got that no 19%, you gonna get that cat that no 0%.
That's right.
Guaranteed.
All we gotta do is, you know what I'm saying? But you know, that thing you know is over. But I know we just chopped up the game on some information that pretty healthy. But as a first time home buyer, sitting at the table with a realtor, trying to purchase that first property, that starter home or whatever you want to call it, not as a flip, not as to live in. Give us some things that you should know sitting down.
Okay.
If I'm sitting across from the realtor, what should I go into that room?
So
What should I go into that room with, and what should I know?
Okay, so getting ready to buy a house, this your first house. We want to educate you through the process. Buying a house is the largest investment that most people would ever make, and I don't take that lightly. That's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? And it's a huge commitment. And when somebody has done what they need to do and been responsible over the time, and they actually are able to get approved for a house, that's major. That means that you set a goal and you worked hard to accomplish that goal.
It's a step.
You know, it's a step. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that is able to do that, I commend them. I mean, I don't take that lightly. And because somebody is trusting me with the largest investment they will probably ever make, I'm gonna make sure I take great care of that person. So in order to be prepared as a first-time home buyer, the first thing we do, we look at your credit. And when we say credit, we're not just talking about your credit score. We're talking about credit history. So does everybody know the difference between credit score and credit history?
Give it to us.
Of course,
Give it to us.
credit score, when buying a house, most banks are going to want you to have at least 640. Now, some banks will let you get a house with 580. But when you get a loan with 580, you're normally going to put down a larger down payment and probably have a slightly higher interest rate. 640 is what most banks want. Now, if you got a 670, a lot of times we can get you 100% financing, meaning no money down. That's a down payment is different than closing costs, but there are a lot of products out there for people with 660 credit score and higher where you can get 100% financing and no money down. If you are low to moderate income, there are 100% financing products out there for you. If you buy in a rural area, there's a program called the USDA where you can get 100% financing.
Got somebody asking
And
about
then,
the programs for purchasing a home now.
You have products like the Step Up program. You have products, the FHA loan, that's a government-based loan where you put down 3.5%. You can buy a house while you're in the middle of bankruptcy with a FHA loan. You know, and so you can buy a 4-unit multifamily apartment building with the FHA loan with 3.5% down. And you can live in one of those units and make income off the other three. You know what I'm saying? And that's just with 3.5% down. It's a lot of products. So we look at your credit. Credit history is basically how much debt you have based on debt to income ratio. So what your balance is versus what your limit is. They're going to look at that. How many credit cards or loans do you take out? How many people are looking at your credit? And the history, longevity of your credit. Old credit is good credit. You know, when you pay something off, pay something down, don't close it out. You know? So looking at your credit history, and then you still have your credit score. Some people might call me and say, hey, I got a 700 credit score, I want to buy a house. You might have a 700 credit score, but what your credit history look like? You know, and so they look at those things. They also look at how long you've been on the job. Make sure you're stable when it comes to income. They look and see your reserves. Do you have any money saved in your account? Will it be payment shock? Are you going from not paying any rent or mortgage to now paying a $1,500 a month mortgage? You know, they look at your tax returns.
What's
you
the
know,
most important? What I know all of them are
all
important
of them
because everything sounds pretty important.
They look at all of that.
So all of it, like
all of it is important.
Heavier than
but look, we're in the barbershop, so I'm gonna tell you this: we talking about tax returns. One situation I have with a lot of my self-employed people, I don't care if it's a beautician, barber, tax preparers themselves, nail techs, whatever. Guess what? They make a lot of money, but a lot of them do not claim it on their taxes.
Come on with it.
I have people, nail techs, six-figure nail techs, six-figure beauticians, and to the government, guess what? They claiming $13,000. They claiming $13,000 in order for them not to pay Uncle Sam.
They be doing that. Y'all be doing that?
Yes, they do that because they don't want to pay Uncle Sam and show how much income they can get so they can still get benefits in other areas.
Yeah.
And so because of that, you living a life of poverty because you're not going to really be able to be an owner with the loan unless you pay cash. You understand what I'm saying? And it doesn't make sense to pay cash out all the time when you can get loan and and so you won't have to use all your liquid. You know what I'm saying? So my problem, what happens is I have independent contractors that come in making $150,000, and when they qualify for a house, they get qualified for about $60,000 because they only showing $15,000 worth of income, and then they're upset because they don't want to live in that $60,000 house because they got a good income. They want to live in that $400,000 house. They can afford it, but they're not showing the government what they're making. And so there are some loans out there where you don't have to show those tax returns and stuff. But guess what? You're going to have a larger down payment and a higher interest rate. So there are products out there, bank statement loans for our independent contractors and self-employed. But you got to be consistent on what you are depositing into your account. And that credit score and credit history has to be where it needs to be.
Yeah.
But going back to first-time home buyer, we talked about credit history, credit score, money reserved, your employment, pay history, things like that. That's going to be tax returns. Those are all important things. And we kind of have a consultation with them to see where they are. And the first step of home ownership is getting pre-approved. We'll get them with a mortgage broker or a lender to see where they are. When the mortgage broker or lender gets with them, they're going to tell them, hey, you can qualify for a house. If you buy a house right now, this is how much you'll have to put down, if anything, and this is what your interest rate would be, and this is approximately what your payment would be. You can go up to X amount in buying a house, be it $100,000, $200,000, or whatever. You get pre-approved. When you get pre-approved, that's pretty much telling the seller, hey, this homeowner has done their homework and they are ready to buy. So are they serious? It's like money in the bank. You know what I'm saying? Some people say, well, look, I don't want to get pre-approved. I just want you to show me houses. That's a waste of my time and yours. Because sometimes stuff on our credit that we don't even know about. You know what I'm saying? And so we work with clients that have done their homework.
Well, it makes sense. Make a whole
Answered
bunch
a lot of questions in that because we're gonna talk about that pre-approval before even coming to a realtor thing, and you just really answered that in that statement.
Getting pre-approved, that's the first step. And then, like I said, if you don't get pre-approved, a good lender or mortgage broker will tell you what you need to do in order to get pre-approved. Do we have any questions?
Well, I got this before I say this here. A lot of people, when we spoke about, brief loan tax deeds, and of course, I don't think we really talked about hood process because a lot of people buy houses from hood, and some people just buy straight up from straight sale by owner. Of course, let's touch a little bit on that, and I guess we'll go from there.
Okay. So HUD. So when people get FHA loans, that's the most common type of loan that people get. That's the most common type of loan, especially for first-time home buyers. They use it because it's a government-based loan. You can have a lower credit score, a FHA loan. You can have student loans. Well, you can have be in bankruptcy and get an FHA loan. You can have a 580 credit score and get an FHA loan. And it's just an easier loan to get. So if someone gets a FHA loan and they get in a bind and start paying their mortgage and they default on that loan, aka get foreclosed on, then that house becomes what we call a HUD house. Okay, when a FHA loan gets defaulted on, it becomes a HUD house. And so when those houses go back on the market, you can buy those houses through HUDHomestore.com. That's where the government goes back and sells those houses. The only way you can bid on those HUD houses is through a local HUD agent. All of the agents at Barnes & Associates are HUD approved agents that can sell you those. Those are foreclosures when they just so happen to have FHA loan. So in addition to HUD foreclosures, there are other bank-owned foreclosures. So if you got a conventional loan backed by Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, or whatever it might be, then they also have foreclosures that you can buy too. Then he talked about you can buy a house just from a regular private individual owner. And those are properties where they're current on their payment, and sometimes they're not, where you have to do a short sale, but you can buy from an individual. I'm just thinking, it's a lot of ways that it's people that have reverse mortgages that are selling houses. It's so many different possibilities that you can research in order to buy a house. But I always say get a professional realtor, because they're the ones that know how to navigate through those waters to make it easy.
So Barnes and Associates.
Oh yes, we have 55 agents on standby, ready to assist.
Okay, well, I'm glad you said that. What's the difference between a real estate broker and a real estate agent?
Okay.
Are their jobs, they kind of interchangeable, or they're entirely different? And if they are,
with one or the other.
could you explain the difference?
I'm gonna explain the difference.
And can you purchase property without real estate? So we ask them in threes. We do like the Bible now, you know what I'm saying? We ask them in threes. Do you have to be a real estate agent to sell a property? And what's the difference between a real estate agent and a real estate broker?
Okay.
Thank
you.
All
right. So, a real estate agent is someone that went to real estate school. Okay, in order to be a real estate agent, you have to take a 60-hour pre-licensed course, pass the course at the school that you go to, and pass a state test, and pass a background check. If you go to school, finish the school, pass all tests, and pass background tests, you can become a licensed real estate agent. That's number one. If you join the National Association of Realtors, which is the largest trade industry in the United States of America, that is a community of professionals that are bound to a code of ethics, at that point, the real estate agent becomes a realtor. Okay, so you have a real estate agent, that's somebody that got their license. A realtor is someone that says they're going to be a part of the industry, they're going to be a part of an industry standards. Kind of like you got a barber, but then you got people, you have a barbers association.
Yeah, we have the barber commission.
Yes. Okay, yes. So you have another level, and when you're a part of that, you probably have to abide by some rules and things like that. Okay.
It's a standard.
So it's a standard. And so if you sign up and be a part of that standard, you become a realtor, okay? After you have been a real estate agent or realtor for at least 2 years, then you can take another class and another test and sit for your broker's license. But what happens when you sit for your broker's license, if you pass, if you're already under a company, you become what we call an associate broker. Okay, you have your broker's license, but you're an associate broker. Now, in order, the head person is what we call the qualifying broker. So I'm a qualifying broker. The qualifying broker means I was a real estate agent. I took the test to become an associate broker, and now I manage my own company, so I'm the qualifying broker. As the qualifying broker, I am responsible for every associate broker and realtor real estate agent in my office. So if you're an agent in my office, Benny Mac, and you go F up somewhere, guess what? Not only will you get in trouble, I get in trouble.
Oh, because you're responsible for it.
Yes, I'm responsible. So I try to make sure I keep all eyes on all my people. So, because I don't want to risk my license. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so also I'm responsible for educating the people on my team, the agents below me. So basically, it just means if you're a broker, that means you're taking a test. And you could be the associate broker. It's only one qualifying broker for each office. But I can have as many associate brokers working under me as possible. You know, I can have 20 associate brokers, but it's only one qualifying broker.
That's interesting. But can they be qualifying broker but just working under you as an associate broker?
They can't be a qualifying broker. They can only be associate broker.
So you can only be a qualifying broker if you get your own office?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the only time you're a qualifying broker.
John Hancock get credit.
Yes. And a lot of people say, oh, I want to be the qualifying. When I tell you, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of liability. It's a lot of responsibility.
Oh, yeah,
let me tell you.
Look like they can take a little work.
Yeah, and baby, these some calluses up in here. It's brain work. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to do, you know. But I enjoy every moment of it. Now, and that's in residential real estate agent. One thing that you'll hear in commercial real estate when working with real estate agents, a lot of times they call themselves a broker, but it's just a term, but they're not actually the broker of the company. It's more slang. It's like brother. You know, it's not really your brother.
Or it almost makes it sound like you're a little bit bigger than what
it sounds. But they're not.
It's like saying I'm the president.
But it's not.
Okay.
They're not going to use the correct terminology in commercial real estate. They all call themselves broker.
Okay, all right. So you do both residential and
commercial?
Yeah,
so I did residential real estate.
What about mobile homes and shit like that too?
I don't sell too many mobile homes.
I mean, the reason I'm asking because depending on how people get in it,
so
they get in all aspects.
A mobile home is actually does not have a fixed foundation, so you don't have to have a real estate license to sell a mobile home. A mobile home, you can just be a salesperson and sell.
You just post up in
Yeah. You can sell a mobile. Without a real estate license, you can sell a mobile home. You know, it's when it has a fixed foundation that it becomes real estate, a permanent foundation.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Birmingham, we don't have many mobile homes. I've been selling real estate now for 20 years. For the last 5 years, my focus has been commercial real estate. Now, my 55 agents, majority of their focus is residential. I'm the only one that really focuses on commercial. So I say right now about 80% of my business is commercial real estate. The other 20%, I only work with clients that I already know or I sold a house to before.
Okay, so what's the big difference in commercial real estate and residential?
The big difference is commercial is when people are buying office space, specialty space, you know, places for the barbershop, you know, their club, whatever they might, their grocery store, the gas station, you know, it's you can make some money, and then it's saturated. It's residential real estate.
Well, I'm saying that's make some
you
money
got to
out
make
of the
some.
spot.
It's you gonna be profitable.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you like a non-profit.
Well, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
What's about a 15 or 30 year mortgages? We got that question.
It just depends on your pockets.
What up, Jeremy Love? Appreciate that question too, bro.
30-year mortgages. I recommend people, especially first-time home buyers, to do a 30-year mortgage because, of course, it makes your payment lower. Now, when people have lived in their house 10 or 15 years and they're thinking about refinancing, I would not suggest they go back and refinance into another 30-year mortgage. Go ahead and do your 15-year mortgage. Go ahead and knock it out and get it over with. You know what I'm saying? Interest rates are lower and everything on the 15, but you can amortize it over a longer period on the 30. You know, even when buying commercial property, the longer you can amortize a house or a building, the lower your payment. And who doesn't like a low payment? If you can afford more, then just pay that extra towards your principal and pay it down. But at least you have that option to have a lower payment if you want it.
That's right. That make a lot of sense.
Knock it on out.
Knock it out.
Well, that's what's happening. So I guess, before we go, because we can sit here and talk about this all night. I'm a semi-talker. But let me ask you this. All right, right now, 2021, you've been in it 20 years. I'm sure you've had ups and downs. That's just the way business go. But I'm going to ask you this. What do you see for 2021 for Barnes & Associates? And what's the 5-year goal here in the city of Birmingham considering the move that it's starting to make? It's almost like the city's starting to turn the corner. And I'm sure you see that with commercial real estate. So what do you see for this year? And what do you see for the next 5 years for Abra Barnes, Barnes & Associates, and locking down the city of Birmingham?
Okay. So my business, we grew overnight. I took over the company in 2015 when my daddy died. When he passed away, we had a little bit less than 15 agents. And I didn't start building the company until 2017. That's when I actually said, you know what, let me take this 15 on up. So from 2017 to now, I went from 17 agents to 55. And I actually had more, but I don't want my team to be that big. I'm for quality over quantity. So what I've been working on is now making sure I have systems in place that are beneficial to my team and make sure that my team is getting the education and the nurturing they need in order to be successful realtors. I'm that type of chick that if I know something and it's been beneficial to me, I'm not the type to try to hold it in for myself. I want the whole world to know what has blessed me. And so that's what I'm trying to pour into my team so they can be the best of the best in this real estate game. So right now, what we're doing, we also have a real estate school. We're educating. This coming year, I'm teaching my agents to invest in themselves too. Not only teach other people to invest, but I need everybody that work in my office. You can't just be selling real estate. You need to be a homeowner. And not only a homeowner, but an investment property owner. So I'm really just trying to build and nurture my team. So for Barnes & Associates, right now, most people know I'm actually working on getting my builder's license. And the plan is for us to be a developer and a builder. And that's the plan for 2022. And so that's when you say, what's going on for the next year? We're nurturing, we're building the team, educating, and preparing to start building next year. That's what we're doing. Oh, you so funny. So we got big plans in the making.
So on to tag along what Bennett asked about Birmingham, because that's popular conversation too about people saying buy property.
Yes.
And buy on the north side, buy on this side, buy in East Lake, buy in Woodlawn.
So that's a good question.
Yeah.
So everybody want to say, when I talk to people about economic development and talk about revitalization, and some people gentrification, which is definitely a thing, I tell people when revitalization happens, it starts at the core. What's the core? Downtown. Downtown is popping. Okay, so once it happens at the core, it has to spread in all directions. The South is grown. It's where it's gonna be. Going south, that's Homewood, Hoover, Pelham, Helene. It's already grown. Going that way. Going east, what you hit up, Lakeview, it's popping. Right. Avondale, it's good. Now all that movement is coming right here to Woodlawn and East Lake.
Hold on. It's East Lake Estate.
East Lake Estate.
Yeah, just get that correctly.
This is the area to be. I personally just brought my client Slutty Vegan to Woodlawn. Yeah. And we're planning on opening this summer. And Slutty Vegan she's on the Forbes list in the top 1,000 women in the world. You know what I'm saying?
55th place.
Yes, on 55th place. So, and because Slutty Vegan announced that they were coming to the area, guess what? This area is going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Real estate market is going up. So from Woodlawn, it's East Lake, so it's going to go east. So everybody now is talking about, guess what? Now you got to go north. So, of course, Caraway Development is coming. Norwood is popping. Norwood has houses right now that's on the market for $350, $360, $370. That wouldn't have happened 10 years ago.
No.
You got to go north because the pricing jacked up on this side.
Because it's already started east. Yeah. So now you got to go north. So what's north? Norwood, North Birmingham. You know what I'm saying? And you got to buy it before it go up, because this is the other problem I have with us. we don't start loving on our properties till somebody
somebody
else
else
start
start
loving
loving.
on it.
Yep.
So why don't we go ahead and start loving on it ourselves and catch the wave, so we won't be complaining when other people that don't look like us come in our neighborhood.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? This is our opportunity. We can change the game ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We can change the game ourselves.
That's right.
Buy them shotgun. If you got 5 shotgun houses right down your road, buy them all. You know what I'm saying? And you can have your own little street looking all good and pretty, and people will come. You know, I give a prime
right.
example of, y'all remember the juke joint in Bessemer, Gibbs Place.
Gibbs. Yeah.
Gibbs Place was smack in Bessemer, in the hood, juke joint. And in a little shotgun house, you know, up in the cuts. You wouldn't think nobody want to come there. Who went there? Nobody that looked like us, mostly. 80% of the clientele did not look like us, and they were some really rich people that was going out there partying in Bessemer. So when I tell you, if you build it and you build and have a quality product, they will come. So we so scared saying ain't nobody gonna come to my hood. You build it and you build it right, most of the time they come. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't love on your area, nobody else is. That's just like believing in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. You know, and so that's going north. And then going west, what do we have? Titusville. South Titusville.
Yeah.
It's
man.
changing.
I didn't
UAB is
realize-
buying up a lot of property over there.
That Titusville look like that now, because the last time I really went that way down 6th Avenue heading over by the Heritage, I'm like, damn, they tore them down. I didn't even know that. because
It's looking good.
I don't frequent that area. But when I went over there, I was like, oh man, that's wild.
How do you suppose we get out ahead of the plans? Because a lot of people say, you know, popular conversation is that, okay, this stuff just come and we don't know it's coming, and these businesses pop up, and then all of a sudden you see people riding around looking at stuff, and next thing you know they building. And
So people are saying they don't know it's coming, but they got to realize most of the development and revitalization that's
don't know it's
taking
coming till
place.
you see it start.
But let me tell you, most people get mad because they feel like it's all planned by the government. Now, a lot of stuff is planned by the government, but most of the development that's taking place, let's use Avondale, for example. Avondale, I'm from Kingston, so Avondale was pretty much abandoned when I was little. It wasn't too much. I mean, Munches was over in the corner and stuff like that, but a lot of us had own buildings and stuff on that main strip, and we just kind of walked away. You know what I'm saying?
What street in Kingston, so we can verify?
47th Place North.
Ooh,
936 47th Place North. You so crazy. You so crazy.
All right, now back to you, Abra.
Anywho, so my thing is, so what happened was a white man, Cole, he decided to buy property himself in the area, not funded by the government, not funded by the city. He invested his own funds and decided to buy property himself. Nobody told him to go do this. No government, no mayor told him to do it. This is something he wanted to do. He believed in it himself, and he started investing his own money, you know, and then guess what? He got friends to believe in it and other people he knew, and he created the wave himself. You know what I'm saying? So we can do that in our own neighborhood. So a lot of people say, well, the government, no. These are people that use their own private funds and they believe in themselves. You know what I'm saying? Of course, later on, people start getting funding and financing for things that a lot of times we as black people can't get. But in the beginning, it was just people using their own private funds. And so you think about it, people say, I don't know stuff coming. Think about it, it's not too many developments that the city or the government has actually done in the area when you really think about it, other than tear down a few projects and build them back public housing community and put them back up. So people are like saying it's the government, but think of how many projects in Birmingham that has the city or the government actually done to actually change the neighborhood. When you really think about it.
Entrepreneurs.
It's entrepreneurs and people that have a vision and people that's not afraid to bet on themselves. Which that can be us all day long.
Well said.
And then we can be the wave to know something is coming. But what you do, read the news, like you saw, Caraway Development, that's been in the works for over a decade.
Yeah.
So for those that buy property and sit and wait, guess what? Yeah, just kind of like the stocks, and you won.
Yeah, you understand the game.
But you got to sit and wait for it.
Yeah.
You got to sit and wait for it. It don't happen all the time. And then what happens is so many times we just be wanting to wait till it's popular, and by that time it's gonna be so expensive you can't jump in the way you want to.
That's right. But I tell you, area that's popping now over in the beautiful East Lake Estates behind the Conoco, not too far from Village Market. But yeah, over on that side and going up Rough in the Mountain, I stay over on 4th Avenue South.
Them properties.
And, oh man, like so when I've been looking at it because I've been there. Like I said, I bought the crib in 2004. So me, I like the area, even though it and the fire department and shit run up and down the street all day, all night. But one thing I do realize, you know, you got to have a vision to be able to see what's coming. I bought the house for $40,000. Now I already know what it's worth.
At least over 150.
Yeah, I already know it. So for me, it's like, hey, shit, here, who? So I don't really mind it because one thing about it, crime is everywhere. But it depends on what you're willing to tolerate. But a couple gunshots don't hurt a nigga every now and then. Let me know that I got good senses. That's all it do.
But you know, it's crazy though, and I tell you,
that's a hot area.
It's a hot area, but I'm gonna tell you, you'll be surprised when developers come into areas. It's good and it's bad. You will be surprised how many more people are upset that developers are building nice houses in the area than they're excited. And it's weird to me, but I tell you like this: if I own a property and my property is worth $30,000, and somebody comes and start building $300,000 next door to my property, I ain't gonna lie, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy because that means my property value is going up.
You put a fire paint job on there.
Yeah.
Plant a little grass and
Baby,
and shit.
I'm not sold on nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not stuck to nothing. You give me $150,000 for mine, I'm out. I go buy me something else. You know what I'm saying?
Flip it again.
I mean, some people say you pricing us out, which it can be true. Yeah, the taxes are going to go up on that property, but guess what? Would you be more offended that you have an additional $150,000 in equity, or are you going to be mad that you paying an extra $300 a month in taxes? I mean, a year in taxes. 300. I'd rather take that.
But a lot of time though, too, Abra, a lot of it is education, and I ain't
Just
talking about
don't
school.
know
A lot of them just
like
don't
that.
know because you got to remember when you got people sitting around talking, "Abra, man, you know that shit fucked up." You like, for real? Yeah. It's easy to go
Everybody
along
jump
with
on.
that narrative. But if you come in and you're like, hold up. So you mean to tell me an extra $150, bro, when it's an extra $40 a month? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's about perspective and how people look at it and who we sit around and get our information
And
from.
what we get $40, that's a haircut, ain't it?
I wish we were trying to we ain't quite got there yet.
Yes.
I mean, maybe
that's one time you gonna take booty
This
dinner.
is my sister.
Yes.
Yeah, but not right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
You go to Bougie East Lake, what you say? East Lake Gardens.
It's the beautiful East Lake Estates.
East Lake Estates, and we can charge $40 over there.
I don't know about
Okay.
that. Shit, I don't know that. Not quite now. Not long as Duke and Ray Ray hanging at the Conoco and throwing that trash around behind the Chinese restaurant. But after that,
So
we will
messy.
be able to get them $40.
Okay.
Right now, them niggas playing.
Add a little extra massage at the end of it.
You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Get somebody old nice woman with some good hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that ain't gonna be you giving the massage.
No.
Okay.
No. Benny Mac use these hands for cutting.
Okay.
And demonstrating. That's it.
Yes,
But,
okay.
Other than that, no. But yeah, so Abra, you know, of course, like I said, we ain't gonna hold you up long, and
Okay.
I keep saying that, but it's fine. It's a great conversation.
No, thank you for having
It's
me.
very
I've enjoyed you
informative,
all.
You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, of course, we know, but at the same time, we brought you because we wanted to let people know who Abra Barnes was and what she do, and, like, break it down, because some people are like, oh, she just real estate. No, this motherfucker's a real estate broker, associate. You know what I'm saying? And she do her thing. And she also got a venue over in Avondale Gallery. I've been there before. It's a very nice venue. Now, of course, due to the Kavaras, she been shut down. The Kavaras is the COVID shit in the hood.
You gave it another
Yeah,
name.
the COVID, it's COVID shit in the hood. Yeah, but the Kavaras has been looming, so she didn't have a venue shut down. But I know you'll be open back around May, June, if I had to guess, because
Yeah.
it's gonna go to jumping like a kangaroo on a pogo stick. So tell them a little bit about the place and when do you plan on back opening, and what are some of the amenities? Because people always looking for venues, and I ain't gonna lie, her shit fine. I felt like I had some money when I was in that home.
And he was in there looking extra bougie
Talking about
too.
made me took my shirt tail
Yeah.
in. Right?
Oh, it was
Fucking
tucked,
with
baby.
her. Took my shirt tail in.
So the Avondale Gallery and Loft, it's a venue right there in the heart of Avondale. It can hold about 200, 250, 250 people. It's 2 levels. We have a lounge, and you can bring in your own caterer. If you're not selling alcohol, you can bring in some wine. We are working on opening up an outdoor facility where you can rent outdoor space as well. We do upscale events for adults. You cannot rent the venue unless you are at least 30 years old. And so that's just one of our requirements. It is definitely for upscale adult events. And so, of course, we're still closed. We've been closed since February. We are hoping to open back up May or June. Like Benny said, he's so right. But it's the Avondale Gallery and Loft.
Put it on my heart to say.
Oh,
that.
he told you right.
Yeah,
but that's
he
the
told
plan for us to open back up May or June. But it's the Avondale Gallery and Loft. In addition to the event center, we also have a real estate school. It's called Barnes School of Real Estate. So if you want to change your life, or you love HGTV, or you're just thinking of a new career where you won't have a boss telling you what you got or can't do, then real estate might be that career for you. You can check us out at barneschoolofrealestate.com. barneschoolofrealestate.com. If you're looking to buy or sell a house, or buy or sell commercial real estate, you can always check us out at realestatebybarnes.com.
Okay, well that's what's happening. Well, there's another question on here, but I want to go back. Give them some more information where they can get in touch with you so they can discuss this further.
Okay.
This Jeremy Love. Hey Jeremy, appreciate you watching. Shantae, appreciate you watching too. Davis, what's happening? Appreciate you watching. Fred, aka Henry Jones, Steve MC, Ocelot, what up, man? Yeah, hit her up too, man, cause Abra, she's an open-minded person, man. Hit her up. She's going to get her information after I get you shouting y'all out, and you can ask her all the other questions, you know what I'm saying? Valerie Mitchell, appreciate you watching. Alan Holmes, that's my uncle up there in Cleveland. Appreciate you watching. Yeah, so, and then appreciate everybody else that I probably didn't see on here because my tablet is old as hell, but it looked good, though. But, yeah, so if you would, she's going to give out her information again, and then, of course, we're going to close it out. And you can link up with Abra Barnes, with Barnes and Associates. She is the butt naked truth. You know what I'm saying? And if you didn't know who she was, now you know who she is. Go ahead and tell them everybody.
Abra Barnes, Barnes and Associates. You can reach me and my team at 205-328-3330. 205-328-3330.
Okay. Are you on the Facebook?
I am. It's Barnes and Associates.
Okay, Barnes and Associates on the Facebook website.
Realestatebybarnes.com.
Boom. Realestatebybarnes.com.
Realestatebybarnes.com.
Okay. Barnes. Well, that's what's up, Sam. You got anything you want to say before we leave?
Man, it's been interesting. I learned a lot. I don't have much, so I can't come behind.
Okay.
Snap.
It's good to see you, Sam.
Very informational, you know what I'm saying? I hope we got, most of the questions everybody was thinking about asking, you know what I'm saying? Or stuff that usually come across people's mind when they're thinking about real estate or buying or selling or whatever. I hope we covered it. If not, like I said, get in touch with the lady.
All right. Well, I do want to say this. I am comedic narrator, haircut slanger, Benny Mac. And if you don't know me, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this right here. I am a professional barber of 23 years, right here down in Woodlawn on the corner of 49th Street, 1st Avenue North. We are one of the few premier barbershop that's licensed, professional, and cut just simply good ass hair. Go to Google, check our reviews. Benny Mac's on first, and the people ain't lying. And when you put that shit,
you paid them to put it on there.
No, I ain't got no money to give them nothing. I can give them great quality though. But yeah, so when you go to Google, check the reviews. Come check us out. We're open 7 days a week. We got King here. He's a new addition, but he the butt nigga truth. That nigga fine now. Corey, aka Scooteroo, Sam and No Nose, and me myself, and I'm just Benny Mac at the barbershop. So come through, check us out. We definitely will hook you up 7 days a week. Appointments are available. They're not necessary, but appointment will probably prefer that better because remember, 5 haircuts ain't fast. Then, of course, V949 WATV. I'm on the Home Team Morning Show Monday through Friday, 6 to 10. Me, the Eyelash Diva, and, of course, Homie J. Y'all make sure y'all tune in. We talk about all the shit you want to hear. On everything. On God, like the young niggas say. But yeah, so make sure you tune into that. Make sure you check out Woo. She from 10 to 3. Check out Chris Coleman with the Think Tank. Check out my homeboy Ro. he's on the weekend with that Magic City Blues party. Make sure you check him out, Big Row Williams. And also, too, at night, he got Sturdy. He do his thing, Run Marshall. Oh, man. Whole 9, V949 WATV. You can download the app on the Google Play Store or the App Store, either or. On your cellular phone, you can hear us anywhere in the world. Or if you're in the city with a little antenna or not, you can still check us out all around the city. V949 WATV Home Team Morning Show. And also, too, make sure you check me out online and subscribe to this page, Comedic Narrator Benny Mac. Comedic Narrator Benny Mac. Like, follow, share. I don't mind. Then, of course, you can check out the YouTube page. Just go check out Benny Mac. And subscribe and press the bell. It's all kind of content on there. Like right now, the people who don't know it, when you know it, you're going to know it. It's over 400 videos on there, so it definitely is a real live channel. You won't see the same shit twice, but you'll watch it twice because that shit fat. Also, too, what else we got going? Drika the Eyelash Diva has a high fashion show at the Palace, April the 18th. It's going to be beautiful. You make sure you check that out. Also, check out on Petty Church. So, hey, make sure you check that out. Then also, I got to shout out to a couple people who sponsor me because I am a salesperson and personality at V949. Shout out to Chris Coleman, Courtney French, too. D5 Tax Service. They make taxes easy. Make sure you check them out. Check out LaShawn Dow. She has a co-op program where she is one of the only female home remodelers. That may be some great info for you, Miss Abra. So, yeah, she remodels home, do everything, roofing, the whole nine. She put people in the right place. LaShawn Dow. Also, too, Franco with Bullet Iron and Crane, Econo Metal Supply. You know Franco? Goddamn Franco. But, yeah, Franco do, oh, man. I can understand you're a friend of mine. Franco the shit. You just don't smell him yet. And I'm sure a lot of you already have. So you make sure you check him out. He's on Lom Avenue next to the Crossplex. Wholesale, one of the only brothers that do wholesale steel in the country. I'm sure it's others, but I know Franco. That's right. And then also too, make sure you stay in touch with Dante Jeff's Funeral Home. He right across the street. He do everything from cremations to just, simple burials, and he got a very, very competitive price. I ain't gonna say he cheap because he got to make some money too. The limos ain't free. But I tell you this, he also offer cremation service. I look out the door now, that bitch smoking. Now I'm saying, I don't know what he cooking. He might be cooking some chicken, but the bitch smoking, I tell you that. Then also too, man, hey, like I said, I ain't got too much more to say. Make sure you stay tuned to some of these comedy shows. These comedy shows, they are great, they are beautiful, they are fine. Make sure you check us out live at the Barbershop series, start back up in March. Got a great lineup. I fuck with Independence. Start on. I'm fucking with you every month too. And everything else, make sure you stay tuned in to V949 WATV. And if you need some advertisement, come see me. 205-585-7273. Serious inquiries only. If you bullshit, I'm bullshit, which I ain't gonna lie. I like to play it. For real. I'm happy. Little life. But hey, K1 Z-Lands Media, that's the man who filming this. And he does a great job with it. Hey, shout out to G with GMC Promotion too. Look forward to the video I'm about to put out. I rarely put out stand-up. That's what's behind us right now. That was the February 11th show. In the next 2 weeks, 14 days, not the 10-day work week, 14 days, I had that on sale. You can go to Comedic Narrator Benny Mac. It's only 99 cents. I can use your support on God, for real. So, hey, this has been a great episode. Barbershop Stories, the podcast, episode 67. Abra Barnes. Make sure you go back and watch it, like it, and share it.
Good
Next week, we got Mason Tax Service. They're an affiliate of D5 Tax Service. They make taxes easy. We'll see y'all next week.
I appreciate it.
I enjoyed every moment. You never can